Joining us.
Technical difficulties here. Caitlin will be right back. While we're waiting for her, I'm going to turn your guys' cameras off really quick. But we'll have a question and answer where you can come back on later and ask anything that you need.
Hey guys, sorry about that. I'm back. So let me retract technical problems that happens to the best of us. Okay, so there's this problem. There is in fact a really big problem that no one wants to talk about. And people think that a root problem that they have is that they just need more leads. They just need more revenue. That's their real root problem. And if they simply post more content, throw more money at ads or the problem, right? Or get better at consultations and sales, all of their problems will go away, right? They won't have a revenue problem. They won't have a leads problem. And undeniably, all those things that I just mentioned are very important. They're very important. There is absolutely a place and a need for all of those things. But no one wants to address the real problem that so many aesthetic businesses have that leads them to believe that they have a leads or a revenue problem. I'm just curious, is there any guesses as to what may be the root cause of a lead and revenue problem? Any guesses in the chat? Well, let me share with you what I truly believe is the root problem to so many aesthetic practices across the country. And I like to use research to prove a point. So here we go. Harvard Business Review did a study that found 80%, guys, 80% of businesses thought that their brands were highly differentiated in their market, that they were special, they were different, right? But here's the problem. Only 8% of their customers actually agreed with them. That right there, guys, is a massive problem. When you think that you are so different and you're not, it only creates this false sense of excellence, and it can perpetuate this mediocrity that you think it's a leads and a revenue problem, but really you just haven't differentiated yourself. And so all people are going to ask about is, how much does it cost? Well, I can get that treatment or service down the street for less. Will you price match? Will you discount? Will you take my special payment plan? And they'll just go after the lowest possible price. And so no amount of leads is going to help you overcome that, because guys, you have a brand problem. And we see this so much in aesthetics. Is literally, I hear clients talk about how now there is an aesthetic business, what feels like every corner that you turn, and only continuing to grow, that we have to differentiate ourselves if we don't want to just compete on price, right? If you are telling your marketer, your team, right, like I need better quality leads, these are just price shoppers or Grouponers, then I would challenge you to take control of your own destiny and really look at, have you differentiated your brand? Have you told them what they should be focusing on, which is certainly not price at the end of the day? So You might be asking, well, how do I differentiate myself in my local market? Because you may think that it's your devices, maybe your special license or credential that you have, the years of experience that makes you different and special. But I hate to break it to you. It's been so overplayed, unfortunately. So many claim that when actually it's false, that no longer do leads and patients actually believe those type of things until they experience it for themselves. So the golden rule that you want to remember is patients, they don't care about you, right? They care about how you can help them. So answering with how long you've been in business, the great parking that you have, the beautiful lobby that you have, even the great technology or how big your team is really the fastest way to failure, is really the fastest way for them to just price shop you, right? So let's break down three things that you can do to make your aesthetic business really stand out from the competition, even if really at the end of the day, you do all the same things. Because let's be honest, right? We all have injectables and we all have devices, and we can, negotiate or claim to fame the best technology or the best products all day long. But at the end of the day, those don't mean as much to the patient until they actually experience it. So I would not hang my hat on those things to differentiate yourself. And if you want to move away from the price conversation and get better quality leads, if you want to drive revenue, increase conversions and rebooking rates, then you need to differentiate yourselves. And here's 3 ways to be able to do that. Okay. Number 1, you need to focus on the patient, not the competition. I often get asked like, oh, will you like do market research and tell me what everyone else is doing in my market and whatnot? And I politely kind of tell people that it doesn't matter. There is so many different ways for you to be successful that has absolutely nothing to do with your competition and everything that has to do with what you believe, what your mission, what your values are. That brings me to the more time that you really spend understanding what leads and patients really desire, the closer that you are going to get to really filling in this untapped need in your market. And that really requires you to go deep, get an understanding of what their unspoken motivations are, right? And how you can serve them. And then you'll begin to unravel those emotional triggers so that you can really grab them by the hand and start them on a treatment journey. Now, on the flip side, the more time that you focus on your competition, the closer you become to them. And what happens in a sea of same businesses, the only thing that patients start talking and thinking about is price. And I don't think anyone wants to get into that game. So, quick story. A few months back, I had a client and to tell me, and I asked her, like, tell me, what is it that your patient, what do they really desire? What are their pain points? What are those deep, dark stories and challenges that they share with you? And if I'm being honest, what she said was so generic. I was like, yeah, more. Tell me more. Tell me, yeah, but really kind of thing. And she really kind of put up a wall because in like so many watching, you may be fearful that if you're too specific, that you are going to push away those secondary patients that you can still help from wanting to do business with you. And so what I would tell you is that when I was checking back in with this client and continue to push her, all of a sudden in her social media feed, I begin seeing her really sharing her patients' deepest, darkest pain points and the journey that she took them through and that hopeful transformation of where they landed. And then when she intertwined her own personal story of how that what inspired her to be even step into the aesthetic and wellness space, and how she first changed her own life and then now is so passionate about helping others, and then continues to share more and more stories and intertwining those two. Guys, at the end of the day, when I checked in with her and I was like, oh my God, I'm loving your content. How is that going? What kind of response are you getting? And she was like, oh my gosh, night and day difference. And I'll tell you guys, she was really known for hormones, and she came to us wanting to grow her aesthetic practice, and it just wasn't moving as fast as she wanted to, of course. And so when I said, people want to see your authentic self, and once you get them feeling good, then you can get them looking good. Let's do more of that. That's what makes you special. You don't want to just discount and pimp Botox, right? That's not going to get you to your aesthetic goals. And when she was her authentic self, shared her story, her beliefs, her mission, guys, her business has taken off. So that is a strategy of how to differentiate yourself, is to share your mission, your beliefs, your values, and then intertwine patient success stories within there. And you will see what a difference your consultation and conversions will be. You will see a quality of leads increase greatly. You will see less questions about price at the end of the day. So you really want to shift the conversation, not about the great technology, how this device works, how many treatments you need, right? But share with people your heart. Share with people your heart and how you too can go on this journey with them to get them the results that they need. Now, there was this term years ago called the spend shift movement. And essentially, if I break that down for you, it's where consumers, they shift their spending habits to brands or businesses that share their values, So you may sell or offer all the same treatments as your competition, but no one has your same story or your same perspective. So it's really about standing for something and being confident and brave enough to share your story. And then you tie that into how you can help people, and it's going to make all the world's difference, because neuroscientists, they have found that when we need to make a decision, we imagine ourselves in our future state, and it either feels really good or it doesn't. And when you can paint a picture of what the future looks like with you, working with you, giving you their business, trusting you to initiate and complete the treatment plan to get them the results that they're looking for, you have a much better chance of them choosing you, not based on price, right? But because they believe that you are the person that can help them regardless of price. And the last thing that I want to share is that get uncomfortably specific about your ideal patient and that real micro niche of the target patient that you want to serve. Now, this is where I get a lot of pushback from clients. It's like this scary thing for some, because they wear all the devices and treatments and products that they have to offer like this badge of honor. And they are just terrified that that treatment or device or product will never get used unless they talk about everything, right? And it's not that I'm saying that you should be a one-trick pony or only solve one problem or have one device. What I'm saying is Have you ever heard the saying, when you try to speak to everyone, you speak to no one? And that's what I find so often with aesthetic brands, because they have so many great tools in their tool belt and they just want to use all of them. And so they're just like, da, 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 we can do this, we can do that, right? And then what happens is they're just really not speaking or attracting anyone at the end of the day. So you want to narrow it down to get more of what you actually want in your door, your ideal, dreamy, juicy patient that you want to work with. And guys, don't worry. Don't worry. I promise you, you are still going to get secondary patient segments in, right? So that you can use all the tools in your tool belt. Because what happens is, once you attract that ideal client in and you get them results and you have trust with them, there are a whole slew of other problems that you and desires that you can solve for them, right? So you're going to be able to use all those tools in your tool belt. So it is time to move away from one to many and to really focus and dial into only one, right? Do you want to be known for lips? Do you want to be known for taking 10 years off? Do you want to be known for working with like powerhouse, career-minded women? Do you want to be known for holistic, natural results? Do you want to be known as like the hyperpigmentation queen or girl, right? Or, like villain booties, whatever it may be. Don't think that that is going to detour all the other great services and treatments that you have to offer. I promise you, it won't. It won't. And, at the end of the day, do you want to move away from people constantly asking you, well, how much does it cost? Well, I can get it cheaper down the street, right? And really differentiating your brand is going to help make some of those annoying, silly questions that you get like that obsolete. It's going to make them go away. It's going to make them not even feel comfortable enough to ask those things. But when you don't differentiate yourself, when they don't know what to ask you besides how much it costs, you can't expect anything else at the end of the day. So I want you to move the conversation. I want you to extinguish the false mindset that you have a lead and a revenue problem, and really differentiate your brand and then shout that from the rooftops. Use all the tools in your tool belt, right? From a marketing perspective, right? Text, email, organic, website, your paid ads. Shout it from the rooftops, and it's going to make all of those other services grow at the same time. So thank you for joining me. I am happy to open up the floor for any questions. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Jessica. Hey, Dr. Pickens. Hey, Mary. Mary, thanks for joining us here live. Hey, Phoenix. Hey, Fonda. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me live here. If you know another aesthetic business or brand that could benefit, please don't hesitate to share this with your team in the aesthetic industry. And if you would like more free trainings to help your brand grow, visit my link tree in my social media bio and join me live every Wednesday, 2:30 Central Time, same place. Catch me on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Thanks so much, guys.